to Your Mom is a Podcast. In this
Your
very
Mom.
special podcast, Your Mom, you know what? Your Mom's a Podcast.
Yeah, Your Mom's a Podcast.
Here we interview incredible people and their moms to be like, excuse me, how did you do it?
I'm Sandeep Parikh, you're
Milana Weintraub.
and we're both two LA-based comedians and actors, and we're also new parents, and we need help.
So we're going to talk to people who are incredible and inspiring and change the world, crack us up, all of the above.
And learn to be better parents, and also learn to have some compassion for our parents.
Yeah, who maybe did some things a little wonky or a little perfect, because look at us, we turned out to be perfect people.
So welcome to Your Mom is a Podcast.
I just wanted to start off by telling you how much I love you. And I'm so grateful that we get this check-in together, because one of the most obvious things about parenthood is that it's super time consuming.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we didn't have this time together, we maybe wouldn't hang out.
No, I actually have started up a podcast with all of my friends because it's the only way that I get to hang out with them. I know it's all just becomes a blur. And we just have one kid each too. So, it's a monumental task raising a human being. And then you end up having all these relationships that fall off the wayside. And it's, it's not great.
I think about that all the time when I think about having a second. And it's such every relationship takes a hit, especially our primary relationship with our partner.
Who?
And exactly. And I really so admire people who can do it.
Yeah.
Like our guest, Jessica Jackley today, who is a mother of 4. And one of my favorite things about...
I don't get it. I don't buy it.
I think it's really amazing. I see her doing it.
I know.
And I'm like, hell yeah. That looks so fun in the little windows that we see. And she also seems like she's doing a really good job with all 4. My concern is that I think I can only do a good job with 1.
Right. My son started calling me dad instead of daddy.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
So that's my check-in. That's what my check-in's about.
How are you dealing with that?
In the moment, it was really not okay. I was like, oh no. And he was so he knew, I think that that I didn't want that. And so he was like, no, yeah, it's going to be dad now. It's dad from now. I mean, now and so then I realized, I got to not react, big and just be like, yeah, no, listen, if you want to call me dad, that's okay. And so I kind of
in a way, remove some of the leverage that he thinks he has over you.
Exactly. Uh-huh. And I was like, listen, I prefer daddy. So I don't want to be a liar. I prefer daddy because it's really cute. But you can call me dad. I'll respond to dad. And then he kind of dropped it. And then since then it hasn't come back up. But it's right there. We're on the verge already at 4. That feels early. Does that feel too early?
Did he get it from somewhere? Did he hear someone say it?
Maybe from school or something. All of those other children are
so many influences.
So many influences. But he goes to this Waldorfy forest school. So it's not from, I don't know. He doesn't watch any media. It's not from that. So I don't know.
I heard at your school there's a teacher or an administrator or something, and they call him Papa.
So the whole thing is that all parents are called Papa and Mama, which is kind of cool. I like. So you'd be like, oh, hey,
why?
Because then all the kids know that that's a parent of the school. So you'd be like, say hi to Mama Milana. I don't know. It ends up being really endearing because and everyone's a mama and a papa at the school, and it's nice because then the kid understands their relationship to them. But still knows their name.
I don't know. It just, the papa and the mama just adds a level of intimacy. Yeah, it's a little too close for people that you're not actually close with. Okay, let's talk. First of all, if you guys are even remotely interested in this podcast, can you please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast? Because, we're new to the game. We're the young, sexy friends in town that want to talk to you about your mom. We're sexy people who want to talk about your mother.
It's not weird at all.
So yeah, please
I'm
subscribe
the weird one for
and check in.
But you're talking about.
But I want
to. Okay.
I'm a sexy little girl that wants to talk about your mother. Anyway, in much less creepy news, we have a guest today that I'm a huge fan of.
A little bit of a fangirl of, I think.
I truly am. And it's because I guess her accomplishments has something to do with it. The fact that she's a mother of 4 for sure has something to do with it. But actually, it is her essence. It is her integrity. It is a sense of calm and wisdom and humor that she has that I'm like, I just want to. She's only a little bit older than me, but I'm like, I want to grow up to be just like you. And I don't know what it is. I really admire her so much. And so
she's younger than me, and I felt that way having interviewed her. You know, I was like, I want to grow down to be like her.
She's so cool. So this is Jessica Jackley that we're talking about. She's an entrepreneur, investor, speaker, and as we said, mother of 4 real life children. Mm-hmm. She is best known as a co-founder of Kiva, the world's first crowdfunding site for micro enterprises, which is a brilliant idea. Kiva lets users lend as little as $25 to individual entrepreneurs, providing borrowers affordable capital to start or expand businesses. Currently, she is the founder of Altruists, which offers at-home, kid-friendly volunteer projects for families, and is a co-founder and general partner at Untapped Capital.
Yeah, so she's got a lot of free time. To just chill out and hang out. Doesn't do much. She recently served as Walt Disney Imagineering's first entrepreneur in residence, launching initiatives related to corporate citizenship and happiness, and she serves on several nonprofit boards, including Habitat for Humanity.
She also, on top of all of this, has a book, which is brilliant, and I have, called Clay, Water, Brick, Finding Inspiration from Entrepreneurs Who Do the Most with the Least. She has also several TED Talks, one of which she mentions during the episode. So please stay tuned, listen up, buckle up, and cozy up with Jessica Jackley. Jessica, I don't know if you know this, but I have a huge friend mom crush on you. You are so inspiring to me, and really you do it without even meaning to. And you're so accomplished in so many ways. And the things that I would list off in your biography aren't even the things that I look up to you for, although they are super impressive. It is really the way that you are. It is just the way that you are. It's the way that you are with Reza, and the way that you, and I met you and Reza 7 years ago or something. And I noticed then how special you two are. And then seeing you as parent, and I think then your kids were maybe 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah. We had 2 3s and an almost 1 when we all met.
Yes. And so it was, it's just so cool to see you now, managing all the chaos, but with so much love and so much responsibility. And I say responsibility, and your ability to respond is so cool and inspiring,
and patience, and the responsiveness.
This is my favorite moment of the year. Thank you. This is the nicest. I mean, I feel like we should quit while we're ahead, but I thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming. This was such a great podcast. I it's funny because Milana and I both have kids roughly the same-ish age, below 4 and 2-ish. Yeah, teeny tinies. And so it's a little bit of a peek into the future, seeing your ability to organize the hurricane that is 4 children.
I'm really struggling to not just be crushed under all this love in the most wonderful way. I just need to say thank you, because it means so much to me.
But were you always were you always patient, or is this something you had to learn? This way of sort of engaging with your children in sort of this responsive way? Or?
Oh my gosh, for sure. Not always. I mean, a loud and resounding no. I was not always patient. Okay. That's for sure. I have a motivation. I want to be it. I want to be it my adrenaline gets going way. I'm going to be so patient. And it's funny. I feel like I've benefited so much. I love the books. I love to read the books. I love to actually just skim the books and then have them be resources when I'm struggling with something and remember there was that chapter that now I should really read on, say, patience or something. I just love this stuff. And I get a lot out of being nerdy about it. And then, I feel like I learn enough to be dangerous, and then I take it and you figure out what works for you. And way, way more importantly, what works for each kid, because you didn't ask this, but I just have to say it because it feels like one of the most important lessons, or I don't know, what's the opposite of a lesson where it's just like thrust upon you? You didn't do anything. There's no effort on your part to learn it, but you just
a slap in the face.
Yeah. So like the universe gave me twins, and like genetically identical creatures, same input, same moment in time, same deliverer of said input, and yet different choices. So it's such a mind bender to start off that way. They're actually, the chemistry is the same, and yet they make choices. So it's not nature, nurture, I don't think. I mean, those have something to do with it, but it's the choices that they make. And so you're channeling the energy that they choose to give weight to and to run with. And I feel like, I find it to be the most endlessly challenging and interesting thing, pursuit, practice. It's a practice, right?
It's a practice. Yeah. So it's basically like a mega mindfulness exercise.
It is a mega mindfulness exercise. That's so well said.
Yeah. It's just hearing you describe the twins and having twins makes me realize, doesn't that disprove the zodiac thing?
I was just thinking that too. Or any kind of human design.
Does it prove or disprove? Did you say?
Doesn't that basically disprove that? Totally. The whole astrology.
I mean, I genuinely think the greatest forces in their lives are each other, and they're most often going to be doing the exact same thing at the same time. Like they look at each other and yes, great idea. Let's learn to walk in the same 90-second window. Like one saw the other do it and was like, oh, that's a thing? I can do that. Yeah. And then gets them walk. It was wild. Or they're like, nope. I'm going to differentiate. I'm going to be my own individual. Like you do you. I'm doing the opposite. But it's very rarely close. It's one or the other.
Jessica, I had the great honor of interviewing your mom, who honestly, she looks like you, or you look like her. Yes. I totally see how you ended up being as magical as you are just in the first 5 minutes. And then getting to go deep with her was really, really special. And so I'm so excited to bring you into that conversation so that you could hear some of the things that she said.
Oh my goodness. I am both excited and nervous, but also I love that you got to spend time with her because she's quite literally the best. She's the best.
She's the coolest. And how have you noticed her? This is not part of so how it will work is we will ask you the questions we asked her, and then you can answer based on what you think she said. That's how you get a point. The points don't matter, but we do keep score.
Oh no, I'm winning.
A gold star.
I'm just saying now I'm going to win.
You get gold stars.
Beating all the people past and future. So it's going to happen.
Okay. Well, we'll warn all the future people and let the past people know. And then at the end, we'll have a little lightning round that's just short answers. And that'll be really fun. And then we'll tally up your points at the end.
I love this.
But also, if you're this is what she's going to say, but the truth is this, we would also love to hear that.
Are those bonus points or do you get points removed? Partial points?
It's not all about points, but yes, sure. We'll give you extra points.
Yes.
So we asked your mom to describe herself and how many kids she has. I think you'll get the how many kids she has question down. But how do you think your mom described herself?
I hope she described herself as warm, as generous. Although it's funny because I feel like, no, mom would not say any nice things about herself. She'd be super humble. So this is a really recursive question. Mm-hmm. I'm stuck in the loop.
But how would you describe her? I think is...
that way, I would describe her as super connected to the emotions of other people in the room, always taking care of everybody, sometimes to the detriment of herself. She might have said that. She is so thoughtful and has a memory that is shocking. It's astounding. She'll remember what we were eating for breakfast the morning before, ninth grade when I was nervous about this or that. She will remember the details in a way. She's the keeper of the stories. And of the memories.
Keeper of the stories. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's hear what she had to say.
I actually have two children, Jessica.
Oh, two. I meant to say that.
And then we have Adam, he's actually a senior pastor at a local church. He has three children. I usually am with those three children every day, getting them off the bus. And he and Jessica are unbelievably close. What else about me? I've been a teacher. I just retired about 5 years ago, but I taught forever and ever. I taught preschool. I taught first grade. I've actually taught all the grades, but my favorite was first grade. It was just exciting to see them blossom.
Yeah, 43 years as an educator. And
wow.
Yeah, I knew first grade was her favorite.
That may have been somewhat of a trick question because she answered with her like career, statistics.
That was a trick question. I think I should be awarded points for the trick.
Yeah.
Wow, you're very competitive and it's working in your advantage.
It's working.
We are pushovers. So whatever you say, Miss Jackley. So we asked your mom how her experience as a teacher has made her a better parent. What do you think?
I was so fortunate to be able to spend like a month with her in her classroom during my junior year of college before I studied abroad. Like the timing worked that I had this extra time. And I was blown away by the energy output. I mean, here I was, I should have been, I guess. And it's like prime of like energy, right? 20 something, super young. And I was exhausted at the end of these days just watching her in the classroom. I remember a few things. One, she was actually very good at drawing boundaries and making sure the kids, like she would always talk about like starting off the year in a little bit of a stricter way so she could ease up later, but you didn't want to start off with the chaos. That was one piece. She would talk about, you can't say the word can't, like making sure to phrase things in a positive, what we would now talk about very fluidly, like a growth mindset kind of way. She had a lot of good positive themey kind of mantras and things like that. She also would talk about identity in these lovely ways. You know, this thing that you did, this choice that you made is an ideal. We're going to work on this particular specific piece, but you overall are so capable and smart. And, you know, she would praise the general character or identity of the child and give them that positive association and that foundation, but then work on the kind of the other pieces with them in a way that didn't make it feel threatening to them and who they were and how they thought about themselves. So those are three.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So like it wasn't like a deficit to not know something or not be good at something. It was sort of like
it was all
something
about let's
tackle.
work on these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about that in some modern parenting books of like, you know, it's not that you're a messy person, it's that you made a mess.
Yes, exactly.
And a mess is something that we can handle in this moment.
Exactly. It's also interesting to think back, right? Because I definitely have got a lot of good girls and that kind of thing, which we know we understand differently now. Like you praise, praise effort, praise process, all that stuff.
Right.
But honestly, I think she did it in a way that was still great with me and with her kids. I don't look back and say, oh man, my mom really gave me the wrong kind of praise, because she praised so much all the time. It was all just so awash in love.
Right.
It was clear what was happening, you know?
Because like a lot of the good girl, good boy thing or great job kind of stuff is like, is that it's a shortcut to not engage, right? Like, and it doesn't sound like your mom took any shortcuts to not engage.
Exactly.
Like, so for other folks, it's like, hey, good job, kid. And then like, I'm back to the thing that I'm doing. And so you're just like trying to praise without, like you're trying to get a point as a parent without actually doing any of the work.
Right. And not praising the specific effort or the specific way of approaching.
I'm just curious, Jessica, what your philosophy is on praise now with your 4 kids.
What's strange is you grow and change as your kids grow and change. And so I think I'm doing a better job with my youngest. I giggle sometimes inside because it feels funny when, you know, a 3-year-old's making something and it actually is like so beautiful. It makes your heart want to explode, but you're not supposed to say that's so beautiful. You're a Picasso. You say, oh, I see colors. Tell me about those lines, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it just feels a little awkward.
Did that thing. Yeah, totally.
I see you exist.
I want to circle back to the question we asked your mom, right? Was do you feel that your experience as a teacher has made you a better parent? And just to summarize your answer so that I can give you the gold star or not.
Thank you.
Can you just help me summarize like what you think the main answer was?
Oh, I thought you were going to summarize it to give me maximum points. Okay.
I think I was listening. Come on.
I would say she she is so skilled at framing sort of both the praise and the pieces to work on in a growth mindset way. Also, specifically the identity piece. You are a good kid. You are a smart kid. You have a solid foundation. You have abilities. Let's change this one behavior or choice or whatever it is that they're working on. And then I think I had a third one. Don't go in easy. Start off a little stricter so that you can ease up. So you don't lose control. So there was about, it's a ton of children to manage in a public school. She had 20 some kids. So she sort of did that management thing, knowing when things were going well, you could actually be a little less.
So be the boss. Okay. All right. So you got 3 possible answers. Let's see what she said.
I think my experience as a parent made me a better teacher. I learned from Jessica and Adam. I learned one of the funniest stories, and this is a Jessica story. We moved back from a city that we were living in. We moved back to Pittsburgh. And right across the street from where we moved was a woman who had a preschool. Jessica was 3. We had a baby. And so I just thought, it'd be fun for her to go and just meet some of the kids. Well, day 2, Jessica came back in tears and the teacher walked over with her. And I said, what happened? And Jessica said, she did my art project. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, she had it all cut out. And so what happened was it was during Halloween and the woman had cut out a cat, and everything was precise and perfect. And Jessica didn't like that. And so she wouldn't go back anymore. So as a teacher, I learned you don't have to do their art projects for them. They can do it. It's theirs. It doesn't matter if somebody's green or somebody's blue. It just doesn't matter. So I think I learned more being a parent to help me in my teaching.
What a beautiful answer that leaves you with 0 gold stars.
I know. And, I need to really get in her head more. This is my only goal is to win. So,
She flipped the script.
By the way, I can see the cat in my mind. I remember that so vividly.
Do you think you remember that because it's a story that's been told a lot? Or do you think you remember that because it's an actual memory that you have?
I hear where you're going. I hear what you're saying. I genuinely remember this one because I was so offended. Like, who did she think I was 3? I could do it. Back off.
I also love that this element of your integrity that you're like, I'm not looking to take credit for someone else's work. I'm here for the experience.
Right. That's pretty wise for a 3-year-old.
Whereas like my kid definitely comes home from projects. He's like, I made a pumpkin. And I'm like, you did not make this
I don't know if it's an integrity issue, but that's a nice take. That's a nice spin.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
You need reliable appliances to help you conquer the day. And Menards is the one-stop shop for huge savings on new energy-efficient appliances. We carry the largest in-stock selection, starting at low prices and ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Upgrade today and save big money on new appliances right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Another thing we asked your mom is, so we said, Jessica is incredibly generous and loving in your personal life and also professionally thoughtful. What did your mom do to foster that in you?
I don't think this is true. But if I play this game, I believe my sweet mom would say something where she doesn't take credit because she is such a giver. And obviously any generosity that I have learned to display or to act on is because of how she treated me. Like, obviously, right? We all know that. But she would probably say, Jessica's always been this way. She's always been so kind. She has always, sorry, her voice isn't like that. She's always found the kid who didn't have the buddy, or has empathy for the weird stuff, the weird anything.
You think she'll just say it's basically innate?
That you came out this way?
I think she'll say something like that. Yeah.
And then what do you think the truth is?
Yeah, I think she is so generous and so self-sacrificial. I was laughing about it because we were just like at a farmer's market, farmy thing, right? And the kids were like, let's get this weird pumpkin. And they thought it was weird and they wanted to make it gross. But I remember like loving the weird ones and loving the weird stuff, or loving like the ugly doll at the store and be like, no one is going to buy her. We should buy her and love her. Everyone needs love, you know?
Yeah. Should we find out what she said?
I think one of the things that was very important as they were growing up is just listening to them. Not judging, but just listening. I may have had my own thoughts, but I felt that if I were to judge and, put my 2 cents in when not needed at that time, it would have stifled them being able to talk. Not always accepting everything they did, but listening to everything that they had to say.
Okay, so I'm losing, but I don't care because that was beautiful, and that
was beautiful. I know, and this is the best game to lose.
Also, just while we're here, can we please play the answer to number 9?
One of my fondest is when our son was born. There's 2 years difference. And Jessica took her most precious little baby doll and brought it to the hospital and gave it to Adam. And it was one of those flip dolls. It was Little Red Riding Hood, and you flip a skirt, and like the woodcutter would be there and the wolf and the grandmother. She loved that. She never let it out of her arms. And she gave it to Adam the day he was born. He still has it. Other memories are just like going pumpkin hunt, picking pumpkins. And Jessica would pick the pumpkin that, oh my gosh, wouldn't stand up, had warts on it. It was the ugliest pumpkin you've ever seen. And she would say, nobody else is going to want it. And that pumpkin would be at our house.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay, wait, that's awesome.
I think we're giving you the point for the pumpkin similarity. Yeah, I think
that's crazy. That's really amazing. I'm really excited. And I forgot about the Adam story. I remember that.
I love that you're seeing that as a great quality in your kids of loving the underdog, and your mom remembers that in you.
That's so nice. This is the best. Thank you for letting me spend time like this and just talk to you and remember all these wonderful things. What a nice gift.
For your obsession with strange, naughty pumpkins, I'm gonna give you 2 gold stars. Okay, I think it's warranted. So congratulations.
I'm super excited.
So Jessica, would you tell us a little bit about Kiva?
Sure. Kiva is today a nonprofit, and it was at the beginning, way back, that allows individuals to lend $25 or more, not earn any interest, but get it back as $25 once again, as it is repaid by entrepreneurs all over the world, usually that only need a few $100s, because they have these micro enterprises, like they have a small farm, a 1-acre farm, or they have a kiosk, and they like at a trading center on the side of the road, and they serve beans and rice at lunch, or they're a tailor or a seamstress. There's so many tiny activities that could be done all over the world. And Kiva was something that I started way back almost 20 years ago, but I think we're at 17, 18 years now. But we started with this little idea: what if an everyday person could lend a little bit of money to somebody else that needed it? And then as that person grew their small business, they could repay the loan, and the original lender would get repaid. And it worked. It really worked.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, it crossed $2 billion last week,
wow.
Which I don't even know how to, that's a lot of math. No, I don't know how to think about that number, but I definitely like to think about all the stories. And I do geek out and read a lot of stories on the website, not infrequently.
It's very cool.
It was amazing.
Well, I remember when we first met and you were telling me about it, you told me this story that I still think about and I think is amazing, where you, I guess, took a woman with you to visit some of the communities that Kiva was working with.
Yeah.
And she came up to another woman and was like, I am the woman that donated the money so that you could have such and such. And that woman replied with, and I am the one who paid you back.
Yes, amen. Yes. I know, right? It's a good one.
I love that because it kind of goes back to this whole, projection that I have of you as a person that has a lot of integrity, because it's really not about any kind of like status or belittling or labeling. It is really about like being community and having confidence. Like, this is about, it feels like it's such a healthy contribution to the world to be like, you're going to be able to have the money that you need to start the venture that you want. And also, it's going to be so good for your confidence and for your sense of self to be able to pay it back.
100%. 100%. And like, to be clear, we did not invent the concept of micro lending and microfinance, but it wasn't something that you could participate in at the time, way back in like 2004, 2005 when we started.
Mm-hmm.
When I learned about microfinance, I thought, okay, there's the unlock. This is built on dignity and like actual real equality, where resources and information and, back and forth. And then the person is actually not also cast as this indebted forever,
right.
Person who
helpless,
only had to always be grateful and only had to always be, I'm a fan of gratitude, but like only had to always be like, you, oh, amazing donor, saved me.
So it sounds like you had a real entrepreneurial spirit right away. Because I think a lot of people have ideas about how to make something better, but you also had a lot of follow through. So this is a nice segue into the next question we asked your mom, which is, how have your children displayed an entrepreneurial spirit? What do you think your mom said, or maybe a story that she recalled?
They're amazing. They're really good negotiators. I've always rewarded them for negotiating hard, like push back, make your case. Maybe you'll change my mind, which is not always great. Rez is like, this is because of you, whenever they really push back. They had a business where they were picking leaves and flowers off of everything in our yard and putting them in baggies. And they said it was medicinal herbs. And they said it's just medicine. Yeah. It was a medicinal plant store. And basically they had these theories. They would take a big whiff of them and say, well, this makes me feel calm. This is the calm herb. This makes me feel happy. And they were like basically dealing drugs. It was amazing.
Medicinal.
Oh my God.
Medicinal use.
One of the funniest stories is they took all the plants, like pieces of all the plants that were around the house, and they set up a drug store in front of the house. And it said free drugs on the sign. And they have a little alley next to their house where people walk up and down, to connect the streets. And they're out there selling these or handing off these free drugs. And that's a time when we said, you know what, perhaps you should change the name maybe to herbs or something other than free drugs. But they have this entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh my gosh.
They sure do.
I mean, I almost forgot that story.
Yeah. Well done. Definite gold star there. Nailed it. We also asked, listen, this whole entrepreneurial journey, it's pretty badass. We wanted to ask your mom, what was a memory of a time that you asserted yourself?
Oh, dude. Okay. By the way, my mom's a great storyteller. Like her drug story was way better than me. I know when. Okay. So the last day of 8th grade, I mean, it's not like I didn't know what was coming, but I came home from 8th grade. Our family was moving from one area to another outside of our city. And one area where we had been was very diverse, a little rough and tumble sometimes. I'm a pacifist. I had gotten into a fist fight, meaning somebody punched me in the face in 5th grade over a kickball game. It was a little rough. And so my parents were like, we're going to move to the nicer suburb. And I got home from 8th grade. And the house had been packed up, and I was sad and crying, and we got in the moving truck and we drove to the new neighborhood. And then I didn't know anybody, and I was about to start 9th grade. It was like an after school special waiting to happen. Right. So I decided I would meet as many people as I could during the summer. I went to a few pool parties or something, but I still didn't know really anyone. But in 9th grade, the 3 middle schools in that region, again, I hadn't gone to any of them, all merged. And I figured, well, oh my gosh, everyone will think I'm from one of the other 2 middle schools. So I'll just act confident say hi to everybody that I ever make eye contact with, and it'll be fine. And so I just came in like with like a real strategy. And then very early on was, there were class, president, student body, student government geek stuff, elections. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to win. I'm going to run. And again, like, I'm just going to be the person that everyone thinks is from the other schools, and it's going to be fine. And so I campaigned my butt off, and I met everybody. It was between 800 and 900 people in the class, like ninth graders. But I like met so many people, and I figured it's going to work. And it worked. And I got that like kicked off kind of, I mean, again, we can like evaluate my wellness, my mental health at this point. But I was like, this is who I am. This is what I must do. So for like 8 years, I did that again and again and again. And, that was like a really pivotal thing for me to say, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to like be the boss. Even though I don't know anybody, and make everyone vote for me. Not make, invite them to.
Strong arm, force, pin down until they do.
Force.
I really hope she said that story. I really hope she did.
Let's hear what she said.
What'd she say?
When she was tiny, my husband traveled a lot, and he would call. He was faithful every night to call, and the kids would talk to him every single night. There was one night though that Jessica said, and she was probably 3.5 or 4. If you want to talk to me, come home. And she hung up the phone on him. And it changed how he parented.
That's so rude. I don't remember doing that, but I believe that I did that. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad because I went into all this detail on a story and then I was wrong.
I know, but no,
what a waste of time. No.
It's a great
story. I love that there was just little Jessica that was like, hey, this is how I want to be parented. This is the relationship I want to have with my dad. And if you and the only leverage I have is my company. Yeah. I am a child, and the only leverage I have is my company. So if you want this thing that I got, you got to be here in person.
I feel really bad. I think I'm going to call my dad later and apologize. Like, can you imagine? I would be crushed. I would be crushed if my kid did that to me.
It's always fascinating to me what like sticks out in your mind as like the thing that, oh, they're definitely going to talk about this, but then what really impacts you as a parent is like the thing you did when you were 3.
I know.
It's always a wild juxtaposition.
I'm also curious about, the podcast is about your mom and you, but I also wonder, what were the other forces, and we didn't ask your mom this, but what were the other forces that facilitated that voice in you that made you so, willful or strong to say like, I'm going to change my life. I'm not going to accept these circumstances as they are. I'm going to do this very brave and vulnerable thing.
There's like 2 things that come to mind. One, I remember sitting at church and there was so much about, I know life is hard, but Jesus is the way. And I just remember thinking, I wasn't feeling the way that I thought a lot of people must be feeling, like burdened and weighed down. I honestly felt like, well, I guess it's like I'll be one of the people that can help other people who are feeling sad. I remember thinking that as a little kid, or having that sense, like, I love a lot of the messages here, love a lot of the like values that I was getting and stuff. But I think in a subconscious way, I felt like, oh my gosh, I see that I am somebody who's been given everything and more that I need. So therefore my role is to be a helper, is to be a giver.
That actually leads us into a question that we asked your mom, which is, how did your faith practice shape you growing up? This is for you, Jessica. We asked, how does your mom think that your faith practice shaped you?
I think my mom would say it informed and directed me to a path of wanting to be of service.
I think Jessica's Kiva, is a great reflection on her faith. And it made Jessica be a whole lot stronger and know exactly what she wanted and exactly who she wanted. And it turned out to be Reza. He's a gift. He's a gift to the family. He really is. He's a phenomenal daddy, Bubba, a phenomenal Bubba, and just, I think, one of Jessica's greatest supporters.
That is so lovely, and it's not news to me. And my mom and my dad and my whole family as they should. And how could you not just adore him?
This just really resonates with me because I'm in a kind of a multi-faith situation myself. I mean, I was raised Hindu and married a girl that was raised Christian. And, it was to hear your side of the story. It's so beautiful and loving and so awesome that Reza was so accepted. And it seems like it came without strings.
It did.
And that's really special. Do you guys have, is it like a multi-faith family for your kids now? Or like, how do you guys organize around that?
So the way we raise the kids, we give them depth and breadth. So the depth is the stuff that is always common to just spiritual, and I think any spiritual journey and spiritual growth, and development, which is really important for kids. So prayer and meditation and quiet, listening to that voice inside yourself, learning how to extract truth and meaning and guidance from holy scriptures of any religion, understanding and experiencing community, fellowship, if you want to call it, and worship together. So we go to church every week. No, sorry, not every week. Let me be quite clear. Not every week. We make it when we can make it. But if we do something, we'll do church on Sunday. And we go to a really liberal, amazing, open, incredible church that I sometimes can't even believe it just is like a community of activists. It's just so amazing. And then we'll unpack it, and there's so little to unwind with that experience, whereas a lot of other church experiences that we've dabbled in, and just to learn and to have the experience, we'll unwind a lot more, maybe. Like, hey, FYI, this is what I think. What do you think? I didn't love when they said this. We'll talk, God, it's talk, conversation. And we'll do that together and invite the kids in and see what they learned, see what they thought. But then we also do home church at home. So the depth is like, we do a thing together. We don't ask anybody to commit. We're not indoctrinating anybody. We're like, this is lovely and a great experience to share. There's shared experience and shared practices. And then the breadth is sort of our cultural literacy, like religious education at home. And being married to Reza is so great because I'll be like, Rez, tell the story of the Buddha. Oh, Reza, tell that one story of the one Hindu god that does that thing that's so amazing, the blue guy. I know, but I'm just saying. Or like, hey, Reza, remember that Native American? You get a lot of blue guys. So. The blue guy. Remember the Native American origin story where that guy pops out of the pea pod and it's so interesting? And like, you should do that.
For people who don't know, Reza is a religious scholar.
Yes.
And has written multiple books on faith.
Yep.
And is a best-selling author in that sense too.
And some arm candy,
and a hot to trot.
Yeah. It's a face for TV,
the moneymaker, as we call it. No.
So that's incredibly helpful when talking about the nuance of religion at home.
So great. And so right now today, if you surveyed our family, you would find, if you did the census, a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, 2 undecided, but like I would like to nominate the littlest for like, whirling dervish, and maybe like Sufi mystic, So like we there's no
amazing.
And this is the best. My third boy said, "So Mama, I really am trying to decide. If I'm going to pick a religion someday, which one has the most chocolate?" And I was like, "Oh my God, welcome! You're a Christian. It's amazing because you're so because Easter, yeah." So,
yeah.
I don't know. We have the Hanukkah guild.
I know.
Just saying.
I
and the
so
babka.
Bad at Hanukkah. I thought you gave big presents.
Are you kidding, you guys? Hinduism is just like all we have is sweets. We're mostly diabetic.
That's true.
I think we win.
That's true. Okay. Well, it's so up for grabs.
Okay. So we asked your mom how she summarized her parenting philosophy. What do you think she said?
I think my mom, she talked about being a great listener before. And I think there really is an openness and like there's nothing that kids can do that should and would ever like change the connection. So like be constantly connected, constantly listening, just loving and accepting at all times and supportive, like make sure they always know you're the place that they can come kind of home to.
Let's hear what she said.
You have to be your child's advocate. You're going to stand up for them and defend them more than anybody else. And again, it's not always perfect, but you do have to be like with the ally, listening to them, hearing them, but you have to be their advocate. I would have students in school that had difficulties and the parents weren't sure what to do. And I said, I can say what I think, but I'm not going to be with them. And if it's something that you don't agree with, disagree when you get home. Don't do it in public. Seriously, don't humiliate them in public. I mean, I wouldn't want to be. So why would I want my child to be? And, discuss the things at home and always be with a positive first. And then you can say, perhaps this would have happened, this could have happened differently. But I think if you shut that down and if you criticize them and you're not their advocate or their ally, you're going to lose it. They're not going to want to talk to you. And as they grow older, they're going to need to talk to you more. So that's my biggest thing. Be your own child's advocate, because nobody else is going to do it like you. And love them and hug them and read to them and support them and play with them. That's it.
That's it. Only those
Yeah,
two things too.
there was some version.
I'm gonna give her half a gold star for that.
You know what? I've changed. I've changed, and I've grown over the last hour. And I just it's not about the points anymore. I just want to say I'm letting go of that outcome.
Wow, we've witnessed an evolution.
Yeah, really grown.
Okay, so here's our last question for your mom.
Yes.
Is there a way you think your mom's parenting philosophy differs from yours? How would your mom answer this?
I think she might say something like, I do my very best to expose my kids to the world and expose them, give them adventures, and fling us out there into the wild. I try to encourage their creativity a lot. I worry sometimes there's a loss. I don't know, but of the incredible safety and security that I felt growing up that made me feel brave and courageous in the world and fearless. I wonder, I've exposed my kids to a lot. And I think sometimes they're well aware that there are problems in the world to be fixed and that kind of thing.
So just that more of the exposure to a variety of
ways of thinking
and cultures. And I mean, you even talked about it with religions and stuff like that. That could be, okay, let's see what the answer is.
She always, always, always has projects for her kids. I may have been more of the let's clean up one thing before we go on to another thing. The teacher in me, is like, okay, we can't have everything out. Jessica's she's wonderful in that way that what they want to do, as long as it's safe, they'll do. I pride her on that she's there. I tried to do that with my kids, but I see so much in Jessica that her love, I'll start crying, is totally unconditional for those kids. She's a good mama. Oh boy. I'm very proud of her.
Is this the goal, to have everybody be crying because mission accomplished?
Yeah, that's how you win.
I just won that.
Yep. You get a star for every tier.
Oh my gosh. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you get a few stars there. And I think creativity is the answer, and exposure is part of what she said. So ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, for sure. As we're about to head into the lightning round, how are you feeling right now?
I'm just grateful and loved, and just, I feel so lucky. That was really sweet to hear that from my mama. And she's very expressive. She tells me that all the time, and it's still nice to hear it, even on a recording with you. So
yeah. And now sharing it with our audience as well.
Yes.
It's pretty special.
Grand Canyon University makes earning your degree possible with over 130 academic programs for traditional campus students, with more than 80 bachelor's programs offered online. GCU provides you with the personal support you need, from complimentary unofficial transcript evaluations within 24 business hours to scholarships, academic support, and your GCU graduation team, led by your own university counselor. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
All right, so we're heading this lightning round. I'm just going to set some context here for you. By the way, you're doing quite well, actually. You have.
Am I winning?
Let's see,
against all other people who have ever.
You're going in the lightning round with 7 gold stars, and actually, I think that is the highest amount that people are going into the lightning round. Okay. So
Even if it's not, just tell me it is. So lightning round is a points thing too. It's like I'm guessing her answer. Okay.
It's not only a points thing, it's a double points thing.
That's right. That's right.
So every correct answer is worth 2 stars. Are you ready?
Did you make this up only for me, by the way? Did you?
This is actually not a real podcast. This is just a long prank. Okay, first question. What was your favorite food as a kid?
Ketchup.
Ketchup. Okay. What did your mom say?
Spaghetti.
Okay, keep going.
What was your favorite subject in elementary school?
Art.
Reading.
Okay. Favorite animal?
When I was little, cats.
She's like cats.
Yes.
Yay, 2 points.
What was the most memorable Halloween costume?
Toothpaste. I was toothpaste. Or Gumby.
Gumby. You know what? No, I take that back. Bride and Broom.
Bride and Broom
and her
was
brother
good too.
called himself the Broom.
Yeah, that was
Bride
great.
and Broom.
That was great.
Bride and Broom.
I love that. We'll give you Gumby.
I'm going to give you 1 star for Gumby.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Favorite book as a kid?
I mean, I really did read a lot, but I remember I really liked Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, and I read all the Babysitters Clubs and all that. That's so circa my time.
Mm-hmm.
She liked the Babysitter Club's books.
Yeah.
Favorite high school activity?
Well, I already geeked out about student government, but also cross country. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm just like hedging now. I'm so sorry.
Running and swimming.
Okay, nope. Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's it.
That's what you do in cross country. You run.
You're right. No, you run.
That's right. That's right.
You swim with your feet.
What does your mom think is your primary love language?
Oh, touch, like hugs. It's obvious.
I think touch.
Bam. You're cleaning
Yeah.
house right now. What is your pet peeve?
Streetlights.
Streetlights?
I'm going to say inconsistency.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that's what she was going to say because I always thought it was duplicative. Like, why do cars have headlights and also there's streetlights? Can we just have one or the other? This is a waste of resources. Sorry. I really thought that. I bet if you called her and just asked her to give another answer, that's what she would say.
What would your mom say is the best present you got her?
I mean, anything I would make. Like, I would make her stuff. So,
Really hedging
Oh,
your
that's
bet
a
there.
broad.
oh, or would she be touchy-feely and say, the grandchildren? But that's weird. But she might say that.
She just got me one that I absolutely love. It's a sweatshirt and it says Mimi and has all the grandchildren down the sleeve. But the best present are her children and her mothering abilities. Yeah. Best present are her children.
It's something that I both had made and had to do with the grandchildren.
She did say, forget the sweatshirt, it's the grandchildren. So she kind of,
She did at the end. I'm just keep chatting over it. I'm so sorry.
did.
Oh my
I
god.
am too.
So I think that's a 2-pointer.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
It is
3 words to describe you.
optimistic, like warm or loving, warm and happy or joyful.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Loving, giving, accepting.
I'm going to go with loving and give you 2 points for that because you said that.
What superpower does your mom think you would want?
What's the thing where you can be everywhere at once? Like not omnipresence, but like I want to be there and here and with my kids and do all the things at the same time. Is that time travel? Is it a version of time travel?
It's like time travel and cloning yourself.
Yeah, like some
Yes.
sort of multiplicity situation. Okay.
Yeah,
You want to be
okay.
Michael Keaton. Got it.
And Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton powers?
The ability to fix everybody in a positive way, to make everybody okay.
Oh my gosh, she's so sweet. I
It's
just
just
love her.
so sweet.
All right. What's your biggest fear? This closes it up.
Just a nice light question.
Yeah.
Just quick.
Just a
Can
little-
you quickly
quick little
wrap it up
I
with
know.
what you're most afraid of in
I
the
know,
world?
The people I love so much, not knowing the full extent to how much I just am crazy about them, how much I love them.
Not being enough for others, that there's not enough of her to go around.
Oh, that goes like right
She's
into the
pretty
Michael
great.
Keaton
She's
superpowers.
pretty. Look, I don't care if you give me the points, but I feel seen. I feel known.
I
my
feel
mom
like
gets
there's
me.
a pretty wide Venn diagram intersection there of not being there for people and not them not knowing how much you love them. So
Yeah.
I would give you a point for that one. Which Sandeep, where do we round off with our points here?
I'll just say this, Jessica, you are our current champion of this because you had 20 points. You got 13 just in that final round. So
insane.
Congratulations.
I accept your congrats. Thank you.
I hope you continue this day knowing that you are a reigning champion of something that doesn't matter.
It does matter. I'm a reigning champion of the mother-daughter bond.
Your Mom is a Podcast is hosted by Milana Weintraub and Sandeep Parikh. It is executive produced by Milana Weintraub, Sandeep Parikh, and Stephen Hine. Editing and sound design is by Sean Marr. Music by Matt Friedman. This podcast comes from Effin' Funny Productions and Story Mill Media. Be sure to follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Your Mom is a Podcast.
Hello, Jessica Jackley.
Hello, Sandra Jackley. I just finished, and yet we are still live recording the podcast. And part of the last thing is to call you and tell you how it went. It went amazing. And I just want you to know the most important piece, which is that we have the most points ever in history.
Really?
Yes. No, Mom, it was so lovely. And I love you so much. And it was like, I did cry a little bit as well. I know you're shocked because I didn't inherit that directly from you.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, honey. I have no clue. How many times did I cry? Is she still on the line?
Yes, she's right there.
Okay. I cried many times. And I think I almost had them in tears, which was my goal.
Oh, yes. That's the goal. That was really, really so sweet. Wait. Mom. Okay, so what? They asked for my biggest pet peeve, and I gave the answer that I thought you would give, which is...
Well, streetlights was one.
That was it. I said streetlights like so fast in the lightning round, and you had this like deep answer, like inconsistency.
That's what I did, but then I asked if I could change it. I did, but no, it was streetlights.
Isn't it the weirdest thing? I know.
Well, tell them I love you and I love them, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm very, very honored.
Oh, you're crying again. I love you. Okay, well, don't.
I love you, honey.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not.
I love you
I'm
too.
really crying because we have a woodpecker. The woodpecker's driving me crazy.
I know. The woodpecker's destroying your home. Okay. Put up the owl.
I love you, sweetheart.
Okay, I love you
It
too.
didn't do anything. It flew right past the owl. It pooped on it and then went in the hole.
All right, I want the update later.
Okay, I love you.
All right, I love you. Bye.
Bye.